Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Aaron Cooney. Episode 137 coming at you, the longest running show on UView here at the Pioneer Sideline. And hey, we told you about it right before in the open there. The women's basketball team heading to Sioux City, Iowa. So why don't we take a look and see how they're getting there. They had their first game in the AMC tournament taking on Houghton College as they came to visit the CCAC South campus for a basketball game in that first semifinal matchup between the two teams, the third meeting between the Pioneers and the Highlanders. As we go to the highlights, the Pioneers, a one win away. They have home court advantage. If they get the first win, they would go on, take on the Damon Wildcats if they could get the victory here as we start up. Highlights there, you see the Pioneers getting things ready to roll. Johnson Peterkin right off the bat in between the defense on the breakaway there. 2-0 Pioneers, they're up early. Then Emily Shartner, she's getting things off, starting off hot. Pioneers off to a quick run up early on. Then near side, they come. It's the three ball from Savitsky. She answers the bell. Pioneers off to a 15-2 run to start off the game. Houghton had a hard time here. Sampson trying to get the team back into things, but you know what? It was a lot from the Pioneers. There you see somebody who's covering Marhefka. Who's got Alicia Marhefka? No one does, and she finishes up trying to make things close before the end of the half for Houghton. But April Austin having none of that. Three ball of her own. 32-18 now. Pioneers lead. One more time for the Pioneers. Beatty just blows by the defense with the layup. Down the left side, finish up with the right hand. And then some more Austin. Near side, take a three ball from that wing. 38-24, Pioneers lead. Going into the second half now. There's just more. Shartner. Pioneers just unstoppable at this point. They had their mindset on getting to that AMC championship game and playing one more time at CCAC South. There you see Veselany behind the defense. Great pass there. No-look pass from April Austin. Then down to the inside, another no-look pass. Austin just makes it look too easy out there, making Houghton just look silly. Finish at the end of the game here. Reserves in Mara McCausland for three and the win. Pioneers, huge victory taking on Houghton. Get the win 71-54. Austin with 13 points. Beatty with 10. Pioneers ranked 24th in the nation after the last poll. And we bring in Matt Desmond here, our basketball analyst. Going to talk about this one real quick. But Matt, it was just the Pioneers. After that loss to Damon, they really inspired that they wanted to move on and keep playing basketball, and they really took care of business against Houghton. Yeah, you saw in that game that the Pioneers really needed to get their offense production from their whole team, and you had five starters have two in double figures and then three with 9 points. But Emily Shartner, just the emergence of her halfway through the season has really helped this Pioneer team propel to the team that they can be. And, they just need that offense to complement the defense, and it's really been leading them places in the playoffs, and it really just led them to a nice game in the next round against Damon. That's right, Matt. And Damon would win on Tuesday as well. AMC matchup, the title game set up for the tournament. That's this past Saturday, the 25th. Damon and Point Park squaring off for a third time this season. The rubber match, Damon got the best of Point Park. In the recent matchup, that was up at Damon. Point Park beat Damon at home when they were ranked 19th in the nation. So Point Park looking to move on, maybe win their first ever national, or getting their first ever national tournament berth if they could win the AMC tournament. There's the Pioneers, break the huddle, started things off. It's Courtney Donovan inside. They got off to a 13-1 run to Damon in the last matchup. This is going to be more of the same? I don't think so. The Pioneers came ready to play, and they would bust off a 16-4 run to answer back. There you see Peterkin down to the inside. So more Pioneers. Part of the 16-4 run. Shartner down on the block, a little step back, fadeaway jumper. That's good. Pioneers up right now, 6-4. So more. He's going to pass into the corner. Savitsky, she's open for three. Huge points there, 14-6. The Pioneers lead. Damon looking to answer back. And how do they answer back? Going with the hot hand. Monica Kozier, she had 14 points in this one. But in that first half, Pioneers able to respond again. They were shooting 72% from the field at one point in time. Shartner with the three ball there. Then watch this play from Johnson Peterkin. Gets the offensive rebound. Three defenders step up on her. Kick out to Veselany. She nails the three. Pioneers up big, up by 15 at this point. But Damon looking to answer back. They would finish the end of this first half on a 9-0 run. You saw Kozier there. Then Donovan for three in the corner. Then with time ticking down, we're at 4 seconds left. They're going to find Ellie Allen in the paint, making things happen with the right hand. Good, we go into the half. Pioneers lead 35-28. Let's have some more second half basketball. Looked like things could be a little bad here as Allen hits the three ball. They're within 5. And then the very next play, look out. This could spell trouble here. A steal by Andorka. She goes down all by herself. Beatty trying to get back in time, but Andorka cannot make the bunny. A foul called on Allen. That may be your turning point of this basketball game. Very next possession, Point Park has the ball. Shartner hits the 2. Damon, now they're in trouble here. Shartner puts the Pioneers up by 7. They had to call a timeout, did Damon. Last gas, Kozier trying to get things back into this one, but the Pioneers respond one more time. Here comes Austin stepping inside, drop it off. Beatty finishing up the play. The Pioneers lead by 17 at this point. Last gasp. We're under 3 minutes to play, and Dorker got to make something happen if Damon wants to get into this game. Driving to the inside, good play there. Still down by 10. And then 3-ball coming from Donovan. He nails that one. Getting close here with tick, 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 tick. How much time's left? Under 30 seconds. The steal from Katrisa Savitsky, the coup de grace. That's going to be it for the Pioneers. Let's listen in on the broadcast.
The Pioneers have done it. They are the AFC champions for the season of 2012. Buy yourself a pair of dancing shoes. We're headed to Sioux City.
April Austin spoke after the game to us.
It feels great, actually. The first time we played them, they were ranked. We knocked them off. Then they beat us at their court. But we got the one that really counts the most, the championship.
And they've just done a tremendous, tremendous job. And I'm so proud of them. And this is a night that they really deserve. And they're going to get a chance to cut down the nets. And really, that's what it's all about. So, you know, and just preaching to be unselfish with the basketball. And that's what they were. They were very unselfish. And I think that's what makes us, you know, a team to be reckoned with in the Nationals, because, one, we come out and we defend you, and number two, you know, we're very unselfish, and anybody can have a big night for us scoring.
Pioneers would get the victory there, 60-48, clinch their first ever AMC tournament and a first ever berth in the national tournament for the NAIA. And guys, you were there. Kevin Calhoun going to join us too here off to my left. And gentlemen, big moment for Pioneers in women's basketball.
Definitely. And Aaron, you look at this Pioneer team. They're in a season, they started off slow. They were a 5-4 record in the beginning of the season, but this team has won so many games in a row, and a home court has been huge for the Pioneers throughout the season, and really just seeing the players develop as a team, because, you know, Coach Tony Grenick came into the system as a new coach. Not many people knew his style of play, but Point Park really bought into his system and really paid off this season.
And bought into that system. Kevin, you were there as well for us, and you were there, interviews, the game in your mind. Looked like Point Park was able to get Damon out of their mindset going into that, or early on in that game.
Yeah, it kind of was the same type of game that the Pioneers have played all season long, kind of wear teams out as the game moves on, and then toward the second half really put the hammer down and try to put teams away, and it worked to a T again in this game. You saw it early on. The Pioneers came out. They shot a lot better early in this game than they have in other games this year. You mentioned it, 72% from the field early on in this one, but then they cooled down toward the end of the first half. Damon has that 9-0 run to cut the lead down to 7 going into the break, but then the Pioneers came right back out, got back to their style of game.
All right, guys, now first we'll be in the NAIA tournament. We will be there broadcasting live. You can hear all those games on 670 AM WPPJ and the MSA Sports Network, and we'll also have some features for you coming up on the Pioneer Sideline YouTube page, as we are going to be live at the Sioux City, Iowa tournament for the NAIA. And, you know, you don't know who your Pioneers are going to play yet. We're not sure the field. That will be out. The brackets will be out on Wednesday. But, guys, this style of play from the Pioneers, how does that benefit them going into, you know, unknown opponents, Matt?
You know, their defense has just been so good this season. And for the Pioneers really to excel on the road, they're going to have to play their defense. And their defense just makes their offense play off of them whenever their defense is good and their offense is going to come along. That's what Coach Tony Grenick brings to this system. And for looking at the top 25 teams, you see Indiana Wesleyan as the #1 team in the nation. I was looking at some statistics, and you saw the Mount Vernon Nazarene as a team that beat Point Park, but they played Indiana Wesleyan in the season. They only lost by 10, so it's not a very strong field for the top 25, so there's not really one dominant team in that top 25, so something the Pioneers really can benefit from.
And Matt, a point that you bring up that really makes a lot of sense is the fact that the Pioneers play such a game that really can be effective against any kind of opponent. When you talk about a team that scores a ton of points, when they run into a team that plays good defense, that really can hinder your style of play. And I think we see that with the men's team a lot. We'll get into that later. But this team plays such good defense that defense can keep them in every game. And if they can score at the pace that they've showed at times they can score at, I think they can play with anybody left.
Kevin, they have some senior leadership, but not too much championship experience.
Yeah.
Going into a tournament like this, how much will that affect them having, not too much experience going to a long, drawn-out tournament that could see them playing for 6 days?
Yeah, now there's not a ton of championship experience at the level that they're at now, but you have to remember that there's a bunch of players in this team that, be it in the junior ranks or the high school ranks or even in junior college or before they transferred here, there is some experience there. But I think that this team has a confidence about them that really negates the fact that they may not have experience at the NAIA D2 level, which no player on this team does. So I think that it kind of balances itself out, that they go in saying, we don't care what you can score, our defense can replace that lack of experience with confidence.
Yeah, I guess before we go off, just want to get some predictions. How far can the Pioneers go with what they have on the table right now with this roster?
The way I'm looking at the seeding right now, Aaron, you and I talked before the show. We have them somewhere between the 3 and the 5 seed. I'm going to place them at a 4, so they're going to probably get a 5 seed and then likely a 1 seed in the second round. If the defense is at its best, which I expect it to be, and then the offense can take that next step the way it has in the last week or two, they could play into day 3, but it's going to be a tough road on day 2.
Matt, for you, how do you see the Pioneers playing out in this tournament?
Well, really not being one dominant team in this field. I really think the Pioneers, they'll play as long as their defense plays. And once that defense collapses, that's when the Pioneers are going to be seeing some trouble. So their offense really has to build off their defense like it has been doing all year. So they really haven't seen any collapses in the offense so far. So I'm going to say, as far as the defense leads them, that's how far Point Park's going to play this season.
And we will see, as I mentioned, all those broadcasts will be live on 670 AM WPPJ and the MSA Sports Network. Myself and Kevin Calhoun will have the call for you. We'll also have highlights, some features online, so be sure to stay tuned on the Pioneer Sideline YouTube page. We'll bring all that to you and all the live analysis. Also, follow us on Twitter. We'll have updates for you at the game as they go on if you can't listen in at home. So,
Which you should be.
Which you should be, exactly. So we'll be back. We'll make a trip, and when we come back from spring break, we'll have all the highlights for you from that tournament and tell you how the Pioneers fared in that first ever berth in the NAIA National Tournament. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. You guys, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to talk a little baseball as the men's baseball team has got off to a pretty hot start early on. Chris Hoffman will join us next.